We're going to make 2025 our year. Don't you think 2025 just has such a nice sound to it? It's the start of the next quarter of a century, and we're going to make it a special year. We're going to make it the year we set big goals and the year that we actually achieve these goals. Hey, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Becca. I'm a full-time software engineer, part-time Pilates instructor, and someone with multiple interests and multiple passions. I love sharing my journey as a software engineer, insights into my career, little bits of my life, and tips on productivity and helping you achieve your best life. In this video, I'll take you through my strategy on how I'm setting my goals for 2025 so that you can follow along and do the same. And not just the goal setting, I'll talk you through how you can actually stick to these goals. Now I want you to use this video how best suits you. I want you to take your time with it. Go away, grab a pen and paper, pause the video, write stuff down, come back to it, pause and reflect, take your time, come back to it the next day and just keep revisiting bits. Just move through this video at your own pace. So I previously shared a video on how I'm ending 2024 strong and how I'm prepping for 2025. So I recommend you go back and also watch that video because that will really give you kind of an overview on how to set these broad goals and also figure out why it's important to set those goals. But in this video, I want to take it a little bit further and break down how to set those specific goals and then again, how to stick to it. And we're going to work through this process together. So grab your pen and paper and let's get started. So first off, let's start by imagining how we want our dream life to look like. Our dream life in maybe 5, 10, even 20 years time. What is future you doing? Where are you living? What is your future house like? What is your future career life? Try and picture everything you can about your future dream life. And our dream life isn't just going to come to us and our goals aren't suddenly going to be achieved overnight like that. We need to work backwards and start putting in the work now. We need to start setting the foundations for that dream life to make it possible. Now I'm going to use an analogy here. If you think about an iceberg, people only see the tip of the iceberg. They don't see how deep and how wide into the ocean this iceberg really goes. And this is the same for our life. We can think about our dream life and we can see other people living a certain version of their dream life, but we don't see all of the years of hard work that have gone behind that. Our goals are achieved by the years and years of hard work that lead up to that end result. And obviously, the bigger the goal, the longer it will take. We just need to build up to it. And this doesn't mean we need to set crazy, really extreme goals right now to achieve in 1 year. But maybe you do have crazy big goals and that's fine. But maybe those crazy big goals are going to be achieved over multiple years. We just need to start with that in mind. So then we can work backwards from that and set those smaller, little incremental goals that will eventually lead up to that bigger goal or that dream life that we have in mind. So when we go to setting our goals for 2025, it's really useful to have this big ideal future goal in the back of our mind. And this will really drive our motivation for achieving what we want to achieve in the year of 2025. And we don't need to know exactly what we want to do in, say, 20 years' time. Maybe it's impossible to know. It's definitely impossible to 100% know what will happen, but maybe we don't need to know at all. And I don't want you to feel stressed out if you don't know which direction your life is going to head in, because that's completely fine as well. But first of all, if you do know, then that's great. Start with that and have that in the back of your mind. If you don't know what you want to do, you don't know what you want to achieve that far ahead, I'm sure you probably do know what type of person you want to be or what type of person you want to start becoming. So do you want to become more confident, or what do you want people to say about you when they first meet you, or what do you want the people around you to say about you? What kind of energy do you want to give off, and what characteristics do you want to portray? Think of maybe 5 words that represent the type of person that you want to be or your future ideal self, and then we can start from there. And now we have this in mind, this is really going to give us that motivation to get us started, and it's going to give us a clear vision in our mind what we're working towards in the long run. And it will help us evaluate along the way so that at the end of 2025, we'll be able to see how much closer we are to achieving that vision. So if you haven't done so already, I want you to pause the video and write down everything you can about your future self, all the words that come to mind, everything you imagine yourself doing, imagine yourself being, and literally anything that comes to mind, just write it down. Now for actually setting the specific goals. We're going to write goals underneath different categories for different aspects of our lives. We're going to do it for our career, our relationships, health and fitness, finance, and personal development. And within personal development, we can split that up even further, maybe into spiritual goals or mindset goals, or just make it anything really personal to you. And I spoke about this in the previous video about goal setting, but I think it can be really useful to, when writing goals, think about it in two different aspects. So first of all, think about what you can add into your life, what improvements and new things you want to bring in, but also what you want to take away, what you want to remove, simplify, or get rid of. So again, I'll leave the link to that video below, but just have a think about these goals to start with. So take a moment to pause the video again, write down your goals, write them under those different subheadings, different aspects of your life. Just get it out there on pen and paper. And now let's refine the goals even further. So we've all heard of SMART goals, making it specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. And I know it can sound a bit long and extra to write them in this way, but this is so key to make your goals a success. We need to make sure we're writing SMART goals so that they're actually trackable and we can measure our progress. If they're very vague goals, we'll never be able to say that they're fully complete and we'll always end up feeling really dissatisfied. For example, if you have a goal, I want to be fitter, what does that actually mean? It can be interpreted so differently to so many different people. Does being fitter, for example, mean you want to be able to run for longer? Or does it mean you want to put on some more muscle? Does it mean that you want to be able to do 10 pull-ups? You need to really be very specific. Make sure you define it really well so that you know exactly what you need to do. For example, say your goal is to be able to do 10 pull-ups, 10 bodyweight pull-ups by the end of the year. We can then work backwards from that so that we know, for example, maybe by month 6, we should be able to do 1 bodyweight pull-up. Maybe this means by the end of the 3 months, we need to be able to do 10 banded pull-ups. However you want to do it, we need to work backwards, and then you can figure out what you need to be able to do today, tomorrow, by the end of this week, and this will make you much more likely to achieve it. This also means that when you're able to break your goals down into smaller goals like this, you get small little wins that you can celebrate along the way. And this will increase your confidence, increase your motivation, and keep you working constantly till you reach the next step in incremental stages. And so now that we have these very specific goals, the next part is to really analyze them, read through them again, and figure out, is that really what you want? Are you actually willing to put in that work? Now that you have these goals listed down and you know the smaller goals and kind of all the incremental stages in between now and the end of the year, you know what work is roughly required. Does the end goal still appeal to you? And if it doesn't, if it doesn't, you're definitely not going to achieve the goal, because you need to enjoy the process along the way. If the process doesn't appeal to you, you may as well scrap that goal because you failed already. And it's equally fine if the goal still doesn't appeal to you because you've figured that out now. You haven't waited until month 8 and then you're feeling like a failure because you realize you don't want it. You've figured that out now, and that's great as well. So think, are those goals really your own goals, or Are they someone else's goal that you think you want? Are they your parents' goals? Or are they your best friend's goals? Or is it something that you truly desire for you? Is it an internal goal for you? And if you're struggling to really find your internal goals, come back to those words you wrote down at the start. Come back to what you find really fulfilling and what kind of person you want to be. Again, just jotting down those words that describe the person that you want to be. If it helps you to visualize it, go and create that vision board. Go and create that Pinterest board and cut things out of magazines or find things on different websites. Either way, create that visual vision board. And then once you see that visual representation of your goals, this can help motivate you so much more. Make sure you have it in a space that you can see it. Put it on your wall. Set it as the background on your phone, as your screensaver, on your laptop. Even if it is a physical version, take a photo of it and make it your screensaver. We want to have it somewhere where we see it every day. Maybe it's in your bathroom that you can look at while you're brushing your teeth, or maybe it's by your bedroom mirror. We want to constantly remind ourselves of our future self, of this version of ourselves that we want to be. And now, if you're anything like me, you love planning things out. I mean, I get so excited by the idea of writing out lists, writing out Excel spreadsheets, and creating collages and making all these fun designs. But for most people, that's the easy part. And for a lot of people, that's where the process stops. I think people can sometimes think once they've written out everything and planned everything out, they've achieved it already. Sometimes it can give us this false sense of accomplishment, making us feel as if we've achieved these goals already. And that's why goals often fail. We get this shiny new notebook, we write out those goals, and we feel great for doing it. And then the process just stops there. We don't follow through. So how do we make sure we actually stick to these goals? Let's talk about those strategies now. So first of all, it's going to take consistency, dedication, and a lot of hard work. And we need to be prepared for that. We need to acknowledge that from now. Nothing in life worth having comes easy. But the more you work on it, the more you work on your goals, the easier it will become. The hard part is starting, but once you do start, you'll get the momentum rolling and it will become easier. And once you're fully in the swing of things, it's hard to stop. It's hard to break those habits once you form them. So the hard part is now, but I promise you, once you make that start, things will get so much easier. And then when you keep pushing through, you'll see small improvements. When you see those small improvements, that will fuel you to push you further and to keep you going, which will then see more improvements, which will then push you even further. And it's this constant cycle, this constant positive feedback, and it will only keep getting easier. Now, essential to sticking to and achieving your goals is creating habits and routines. Having systems in place really makes achieving your goals so much easier. If you want to go to the gym in the mornings, set your gym clothes out the night before. If you want to make sure you hit the gym 3 times a week, make sure you put it in your calendar, or make sure you book onto that workout class far in advance. Put things in place so that it takes the decisions away from you in that moment. Plan for things in advance so that you can't question it when the time comes. Sticking to a schedule helps remove that uncertainty and helps you get things done. And if a workout routine is something you want to improve on and want to get started on, but you don't know where to start, maybe choose a YouTube follow-along workout. And shameless plug here, but I also have a separate channel where I post Pilates content and Pilates follow-along workouts. So I'll leave the link to that below if you want to check that out. Another tip for sticking to your goals is finding your why. You need to find that deep internal motivation for your goals. You need a bigger reason than just the reason itself. And a good way to do this is asking yourself why 5 times. So say, for example, your goal is to improve your cardio fitness. Why? So you can be better at running. Why? So that you can improve your heart health. Why? So that you can live longer. Why? So that you can live to see your grandkids and be able to play with them in your old age. This has helped you discover a deeper meaning behind your original goal. And this again will help give you so much more motivation when you come to think of achieving that goal. You now have a much stronger reason and a much stronger attachment to that goal. Goals will have much more importance to you and you'll be much more likely to stick to it. And now let's talk about the power of visualization. Your mindset here is key when it comes to achieving your goals. You have to believe you can achieve your goals, and this is where visualization comes in. Visualization is a tool that's used by so many successful people and elite athletes. It's the practice of imagining what you want to achieve in the future and acting as if you've achieved that today. Really internalizing what that feeling feels like. Successful people have used it in the past to imagine what success feels like. Athletes have used it to imagine what winning feels like. And there are studies showing the effectiveness and the power of visualization and the effect it has on the outcomes. So how can you use visualization? Imagine yourself at the end of 2025 when you've achieved all of your yearly goals. Put yourself in that position now and really feel how it feels to have achieved those goals. Write down how you're feeling in that moment. What does that success look like to you? What does it mean? Think of all of your senses. What does it look like? What does it smell like? What does it taste like? What does it feel like? Add as much detail as you can. Speak it out loud, read it back to yourself, and add in as much detail. Keep adding in loads of detail until it feels real to you. You have to believe that it's actually possible to be able to achieve it. Now, there are two final things I want you to remember which will help you stick to those goals. And the first is that sticking to and following through with your goals builds so much self-confidence. I think it's the biggest form of self-care you can do. Sticking to your word and really following through. It builds a sense of pride and self-confidence like nothing else. And secondly, make the process fun. You need to enjoy the whole process if you want to be able to stick to these goals. If you're not having fun, you're way less likely to follow through and much more likely to fail. And this comes back to that other point about finding your why. If you're not enjoying it, maybe you haven't found the right why. So don't be afraid to go back to the first stage and then work through all of those stages again until you find your deeper reason and essentially find those goals that suit you best and help you be able to achieve them and live your best life through 2025. Thank you all for watching. I hope you got something from this video. I hope you feel inspired and motivated to set yourself some big goals and really follow through on the plan for 2025. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe, and comment down below to let me know your goals for 2025. Hopefully see you next time.